Welcome to the Process Podcast with Rod Howard, where artists, entrepreneurs, and visionaries share their stories and insights on creativity, world events, and personal journeys. Get ready to deep dive into the minds of those shaping the future. On today's episode, we'll be getting the opportunity to sit down and chat with hip-hop music recording artist Penn Davis. Today, we'll be chatting with him about his journey into music and beyond. But let's not waste any more time. Let's get started. So for people that may be discovering your music for the first time,
Right.
who is Penn Davis beyond the artist?
Yeah.
And what values and experiences have shaped the man behind the music?
Hey, I'm a man, bro. First and foremost, I say, man, I come from Little Rock, Arkansas. Just a guy who realized I had a God-given talent, and I was like, I could use it to, indulge in a lot of bad stuff. I could use it to indulge in some positive stuff, and I'm just a guy trying to be the counterbalance. I feel like so much of the music that's made now is gonna send people to the jails or the graveyards, and I'm trying to make music that's gonna send people to college, to trade school, to make money, to have long-lasting lives and fulfillment. And when they achieve everything, I can't be there with them physically, but I want to make sure my music is kind of a soundtrack for their success.
Bro, that's dope, man. That's one of the things I think is so dope about your practicing your music. Is feel like it's just kind of this purpose behind this, so positive. So like, I got to go back to the beginning though, man. Like, just because it's interesting. Like, I was going back and listening to like your albums and stuff, like 2018 up to that. Bro, but it was cool. It's always kind of been like this positive thing there, this message behind it. But I'm curious about where it started, because it's like, was there a song or something that you heard as a kid that made you be like, I want to do this, but not only do it, but put my own positive, purposeful twist on it?
Well, man, I came up on negative, like terrible music, but good rapping. But the qualities of it was terrible. So I don't know if you're familiar with like Bay Area Spice One. You ever heard Spice One? So I was big on Spice One as a kid, and that was way beyond my time. But my uncle was playing that. I was big on like a lot of the Atlanta rappers. When I got to high school, Migos was popping, stuff like that. But what ended up kind of making me like say, oh, I could do this positively. I got latched in with Lupe Fiasco as a kid. I got latched in with Kanye West, and I got latched in with Pharrell. And it was they were able to make the positive music and still make it sound like cool and make it sound hip. Because I feel like it's very easy to take negative music and make it sound cool, because it makes it sound like an action film. Like you see all the shooting and you see, all the fast cars and the beautiful women. It's like, okay, cool. That's all great. But how can we make that same effect but without making music that's necessarily bad? So when I first heard Lupe Fiasco got an album called Food and Liquor, and I feel like he talked about a lot of real things that was happening then, like 2006, and still prevalent in today's world 20 years later. And he did it in a not preachy but hip way. And I was like, is there any way I could take this and make it me? And that's kind of where I took it. I just ran with it.
That's dope, bro. You just made me think. What was it, Lupe? What did he say? You heard Jay-Z say, I pray to God. I pray to God, I pray to God. Yeah.
I heard Hov say, I never prayed to God, I prayed to God.
Yeah. So I'm thinking God me from the God.
Yeah, come on, man. I didn't realize it's not just talking, bro.
That's what's
But I'm a big Jay-Z fan too.
Yeah.
Doing their concert, I was trying to make it to the Blueprint concert.
Oh, really?
In New York. Yep.
Yeah. I gotta ask you this though too. I mean, I saw, like, I know you got the $10,000 grant and everything, and so it was cool seeing your you did your presentation, did your artist share, and you were talking about something. But what was cool, like, I know you talked about like Spice One and music influence, but you talked about your uncle and like introducing you to like can you talk about like your uncle and the music that he like introduced you to and how that kind of influenced you to want to get into all that?
My Uncle Eric, man. So he's always keeping right here. So it's him. This is Ashes. And then I got my grandma and my dad. There's a picture of them in here. We're getting very personal, but you know what I'm saying? That's my people. So my uncle, he was always just a Renaissance man. Like, man, he listened to all kinds of music. He listened to hip hop. He listened to gospel music. He listened to like the old Motown, 60s, 70s, He listened to country music, and my aunt also did that as well. But my aunt really didn't like rap music. She was like, it's too much, too vulgar. So he would sometimes pick me up out of the house, and he would, just drive around. The first like early memories I have, he was bumping like LL Cool J, and so it was like maybe about 2002. So he's bumping like 1980s. I Can't Live Without My Radio, LL Cool J. I'm Bad, LL Cool J. And he was just like, man, you should try to rap. And I probably might have been about 5 or 6. And I was like, okay. So he starts freestyling on top of like LL Cool J's rapping, but he turns the radio just low enough to where you can just hear the drums, and he starts rapping. He's like, it's your turn. And I tried, and it was probably trash. I don't remember what it was, but it was like the approval that he gave me. He's like, oh, that wasn't bad, man. You need to do that again. And so it became a practice of doing that. And as I was doing that, he went from playing LL Cool J to, oh, here goes Spice One. Here goes Warren G. Here goes all these other artists. And my desire to have a relationship with my uncle and build that is kind of what pushed me to be a rapper, because he imprinted that stuff on me, and I couldn't let it go, man.
Bro, that's dope, man. So I gotta fast forward a little bit. So going from that point to where your uncle introduced you to everything, and like he put you around, he got you started, and then fast forward now you're doing music. Was there a specific moment where you realized like music wasn't just something that you enjoyed or something that you just kind of like did? That was like your purpose. That's something that you called to pursue. Was there a moment that occurred, and do you remember what that was?
Yeah. I was a teacher. You know what I'm saying? So I was a history teacher. I taught 8th grade United States history. My second year I taught world history, and then they moved me up to 7th grade. I taught Arkansas history. And so one day I was in class, and the kids knew I liked to rap. I used to freestyle their names to take roll. You know what I'm saying? So I would just check and see who was out there by rapping. And they love that. And one day, like, one of the students was like, man, you so good at this, man. Like, why you teaching? I was like, well, what do you mean? And he was like, well, you say you kind of want to rap, but I feel like you playing with it for real. And this is a 12-year-old kid talking to me like this. I feel like you playing with it for real. You tell us, do whatever you want to do. And he was like, you a good teacher, but you even better rapper. You should be doing what you want to do. And I was like, the kind of wisdom that came out that 12-year-old's mouth, I went home and it sat with me. Like, I just thought about it. I was like, yeah, okay. And I was like, I think I'm going to actually leave teaching and I'm going to go be a rapper. And everybody I told was like, that's crazy. But my friend group was like, we get it. So I did not do my like re-signing my contract. And when it was time for me to go, I just left. And I said, I'm gonna figure out this rap thing, or we're gonna be homeless.
Man, bro, that's dope. No, I was listening. I say that selfishly, that Mr. Pennington's son. Like I said,
yeah, that's why you asked me that.
But I mean, even beyond that, bro, that song is like listening to everything. I feel like that was probably, I got a couple of them that I really like, but that one like stand out because I feel like you were just being so honest and transparent about like your process.
Yeah.
So you listen to the kid, you take that advice.
Yeah.
Like, what is your thought when you jump out there and you like, man, I'm out there?
I've lost my mind. As soon as the very next day, I was like, oh, this is real. Like, I woke up and I did not have to go to school. I said, I don't know, man. I might need to go back and ask them for my job back. But I was there. So I was like, here we go. I just started working on my project, the one that you're on. I started working on that and put that out and got good reception and just kept the ball rolling.
Man, so like, I don't know, what was like, I imagine it sounded like you had a pretty good support system going through that, man. Can you speak to like, what was the reaction of everybody when you decided to do that? Did you have a good support system? And then it's like, how, because it sounds like you had some good friends around you. Can you speak to the importance of also having a good support system around you when you made that jump?
It was very important. I don't think I would have been able to do it without them. So like my engineer, YK, my friend Tom, his wife, right at that moment when I was jumping off the cliff to stop teaching, those are the people that was around me. And, they were just like, hey, whatever you want to do, man, you got the talents, you know what I'm saying? So we're gonna look out for you. And like I say, without them, I wouldn't even been able to do it, because it's like right after I left teaching, anything that I needed as far as even if just to pick me up to get me through the day, they was there. They was calling to check in. It was like, hey, what have you been working on? Like, when are we putting this project out? Oh, I like this song. Oh, I don't like that song. Oh, do this different. Rap this a certain way. You need this person on the song. And every time I doubted myself, they would kind of push me and nudge me to keep going. So I appreciate them for that. And that was very, very early on. I might have had 2 projects out that really wasn't doing much. But when I dropped that project, I remember one day we got on Twitter and you couldn't scroll past a tweet from somebody in Little Rock, and it wasn't my name somewhere in that tweet the day we dropped that project. That was If Not Me Then Who.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's, man, like anybody that then ever took that leap of faith to like be an artist, creative, start a business, anything like
easy.
yeah, it's tough, and but it's like you've done that, and you had like quite a few accomplishments while you doing it, like opening up for I mean, what, doing a show with Akeem Ali, doing like opening up for major artists. Again, the Catalyze grant I think was a really big deal because you did that solely off just being a hip hop artist, like nothing else, just rap artist, and you did that, and I thought that was amazing.
Yeah.
So it's like, as you stacking up these accomplishments, has there been a particular moment where you like, yeah, man, I did what I was supposed to do, or this, you know what I mean? Like, you know,
maybe I should give myself more grace, but I don't feel like that. Like, I'd be like,
come on, bro.
sheesh, I should. That's what my people tell me. Like, bro, you got to give yourself more grace. But I'm like, I haven't done enough yet. And it makes me wonder how much is enough, because I feel like 5 years ago, if I could talk to 5 years ago me, he would think that was the goal. Like, you know, you got a show with Wale, you got a show with Benny the Butcher, and you opened up for them, but then you did a show, you did a co-show with Akeem Ali. You got the song with West Side Boogie, you know what I'm saying? You got labels looking at you from that West Side Boogie song. You went from having 70 monthly listeners at one point in time to having 12,000 monthly listeners in a month. What is enough gonna be?
Yeah.
Your TED Talk speaker. You know what I'm saying? Or I won the Catalyze grant. I think I'm the first rapper. I think now Braylini, I think he won. Well, you won too.
But I don't count because I did other stuff.
Yeah,
You that's why you did solely off hip hop. So yeah, you earned that, bro.
I'm one of those. So like I'm just trying to keep growing. I just don't want this to be the pinnacle. But if I stop now, I do have to admit I am proud of myself.
Yeah, man. I gotta be honest. Like, bro, I was listening to your stuff from Thursday. Like, I had already like stopped in and listened to it.
Yeah.
But like, I like binge listening to your stuff from like Thursday up until today, bro. But it's been cool listening to like the growth and stuff. But
yeah,
your music explores, like, I feel like faith, purpose, personal growth. How have those themes evolved as you've grown as a person, man?
Man, they're part of the makeup of who I am. I used to be I was a timid guy, and I still am timid in some capacities, but I don't let that be the defining thing for me. So like when I was growing up, I grew up in a real Christian household, very old school, yes ma'am, no ma'am. And that was great for me, but in some ways it kind of made it like to where I was always a little scared to be a little bold, because I didn't want to step out and accidentally offend nobody or make anybody mad. And that's kind of what I learned as being a kid. And I'm grateful for the people I grew up with. I had a village behind me. As I got grown and got to college, I started realizing I had developed these skills, but I was kind of scared to put them in front of people, like, oh, I do poetry, oh, I rap. And, you know, I could have been a lot further had I done that. And as I got older, I just was like, I started leaning more into like my personal religious faith. I started telling myself, hey, man, that self-doubt is only going to get you so far. You got to lock in for real. And I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, just have honest conversations with yourself. Where do you want to be at in 5 years versus how is what you're doing going to get you there? And so once I realized that, I said, man, you just got to step out your own way. And you just got to believe this is going to work. I don't know if you're like Christian or, you know, whatever religious belief. They all got some good values in them. But most of them talking about having faith in whatever deity you believe in. And so that's kind of where I've been at. I'm like, man, just a little bit of faith and a little bit of work and just see what happens. If you fail, you learn from it.
Man, I asked you a question because, you know, I said Mr. Pennington was like one of my favorite songs. I think by far probably my most favorite. I'm using this as a segue. It was the first track on the last one. If not me, then who? But you had this bar in there when you said, how much till you break up with OU? You don't know how much you owe you.
Yeah.
But that bar hit because it talks about the change. You know, so many people would be so married to
who you
are that you can't go ahead and make the commitment to what you're doing. So like you in changing, like I feel like I've illustrated you changing, but like, can you speak to the importance of being moldable or willing to consistently evolve and change, you know, as an artist or just even as a human being?
Yeah, you got to be like, well, just as a human being, you got to be like water, man. So like, If you put water in a bowl, it's gonna take the shape of the bowl. You put it in the cup, cylinder, it's gonna be whatever it's gonna be. If you want to approach it rigid, like if you freeze that water and you turn it into a block of ice and you try to put it in that bowl, it's not gonna fit. And I feel like a lot of us are in a metaphorical way kind of frozen like that. And in order to get to the next level, you have to change that. There's a motivational speaker called Eric Thomas. He talks about drowning in water and getting pulled up. One of the things he says in one of his speeches, he says, "You're reading all the self-help books and nothing's happening, but that's because those books are not in alignment with your values. And for you to go to the next level, your values have to change." So when I started making change in my life, I was more focused originally on what people thought of me or how people perceived me or if I was the one who was supposed to be doing certain things. And now I'm less about that and more about you owe this to yourself. Like I say, you don't that line, you don't know how much that you owe you. You know what I'm saying? Like if you really realized, like if future you could talk to yourself and say, hey, in 20 years you're gonna have this, and this. I just need you to do X, Y, Z. You probably will work a lot harder at doing it. But unfortunately, we can't talk to each other like that. So I feel like future you is like looking at you in a glass box and you can't hear him, but he's screaming like, hey, do this, do this, do this. And you need to realize that when you got those moments in front of you. So be like water.
Yeah. Bro, like I said, I went through and listened to like a lot of your music this weekend. But for the people at home, there's somebody gonna probably hear this interview and they go through and let's say they listen to everything.
Yeah.
I want to hear from you. If someone listened to your entire catalog from beginning to end, what story do you think they'd hear about your life?
They hear resilience in one word. I come from like people see me with the glasses. I'm skinny. The hair. I'm a little nerdy in some capacities, but I don't come from that. Like I come from like very humble beginnings. When I was a kid, like if there's a song called Floods on my most recent project, The Day the Sun Went Out, I come from like the SWAT team kicking in our doors, you know what I'm saying, drug bust, going through foster care, going to go live with my grandmother and my aunt in the countryside, um, pops being murdered on some gang violence shit. Like I come from all of that. And I don't let that stuff define me. You know what I'm saying? It's part of you, so it's part of your makeup. You can't get rid of it, but you can use that as the catalyst to do better. You know what I'm saying? So like future generations, my kid won't ever have to know what talking to his parents through a jail cell feels like a glass mirror. My kids won't ever have to know, God willing, the extreme levels of poverty that I seen growing up. And it's certain shit that's been normalized like in the world as far as in like poor urban communities that kids just are introduced to. Kids should know about not having enough food in their refrigerator to eat, stuff like that. And I'm somebody who's making sure going forward my future generations won't know that. So I'm a tale of resilience, man. I get knocked down and I just keep fighting. I find a way every single time.
Bro, man, that's awesome. Bro, one thing I think I love so much about your stuff and just, man, all of it, like, I think it's crazy. I just thought about this. First time I think I saw you perform, was that 2018, 2019 at Vito's or something, bro?
Oh, jeez, was it?
Bro, it was crazy, but my son was there, and I feel like we caught you performing. I thought that was so dope, just seeing you at the
I didn't know you
shows.
had a son. How old
Yeah,
is your
yeah.
son?
So he's 20 at UCA going to school for marketing right
Hey,
now.
shout out to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But it was cool with him seeing like being at that show and being able to see you in the audience and just you give off this positive energy, I think, for young people.
Yeah.
But especially I think what gets me so excited about hearing your music and stuff is how that's going to inspire the next generation of artists,
Yeah.
like especially in the climate. Yeah. So if you could talk to young artists, like if a young artist, like some kid sitting in a high school class right now thinking about like, sitting back of the bus beating on the window rapping.
Yeah, rapping.
Yeah, but if a young artist from Little Rock came to you today and said, I want to follow your path, what's the one piece of advice you give them that most people probably won't?
One piece of advice that I'd give them that most people probably won't. Trying to think of something that most people won't say. I would tell them to be and be prepared to take L's, man. Like they don't tell you about that, man. Like just it's nice, especially if you're gonna be in the lane that I've like kind of picked for myself. If you're gonna do it like how I'm doing it, and you're not going with the typical route, you going against the grain. So like if if you taking a little Toyota Corolla and you trying to drive it across the grass, it's not gonna move as fast as if you was on the road. You're gonna take every setback imaginable. I've had people like kind of try to gatekeep or block me from certain avenues in the city. You can't respond to that. You can't answer that. I've had certain people be like, "Oh, I like you," until nobody's talking about you anymore, and then I can't get you to respond back to a text when I need you. I've had like the self-doubt piece, like, am I supposed to be doing this? I've had people tell me, hey man, if you picked a different route, this would you be on by now, right? And you gotta be ready to take them L's. A lot of people can't handle that. So when they start failing, or they putting stuff on social media or they putting their music out and it's not getting the instant love that they think it desires, you see a lot of my people crash out on the internet. And next thing you know, they're like, well, I'm better than the street dude, and I don't know why y'all are dumb for supporting them and not me. And the minute you do that, you lose.
Man,
you lose every time. They're gonna tell you not to. They're gonna tell you like you're valid and crashing out for like that, but it's never valid. Just take the L's, learn from them. I've never spoke on none of the stuff that people have done. I had a lot of funny actions taken towards me.
Bro, I think that's like one of the dopest things about it, because you're so like humble but confident.
Yeah.
But it made me think of what's that scripture in the Bible? What is it? He who exalts himself should be humble. He who humbles himself should be exalted. But it's like you come in confident, you're doing your thing, and there ain't no ego. So like I just feel like it ain't nowhere but up for you to go, man. That's dope. That type of energy is infectious, I think, and city needs more of that.
It's no ego in making this good music, bro. I'm sorry, I know you got your
Nah, bro,
questions,
you
man.
good. You good. No, we just sitting there running. We just chilling, bro. So I gotta come back to this though. Your life changed because one student asked you a simple but powerful question.
Yeah.
What question do you hope your music leaves listeners asking themselves after they listen to it?
What do I want for real? What do I want out of life? And how do I get there? I'm not making music for the people who've already done it. I'm making the music for the people who are trying to do whatever they're trying to do. There's a lot of people who accomplish stuff every day, and that's cool. But I feel like there's so much. We only see the beginning for people. We see where people are first starting off, and we see the end where, oh, I've done the thing. Oh, I've lost this amount of weight. Oh, I've graduated from school. We don't see the late nights that you put in studying for the test. We don't see you doing 1,000 jumping jacks to get ready for this boxing match. And I'm making the music for the people not at point A or point B, but the people who are in between that. And I'm just use my music as a vehicle to travel from point A to point B. So I just want you to think, what am I doing and how am I getting where I want to go? How's it conducive to what I want to do?
All right. And I guess I got 2 more questions.
Yeah,
bro.
let's do it.
Man.
I hate this going by so.
No, bro. It's cool. It's cool. No, I always like to ask people this selfishly, man, because it's like I ask Chris Jones, ask like all these folks that I get a chance to talk to, because like I'm obsessed with trying to figure out what motivates people to do the things they do. Because, that's one thing. Like with what you do, I've seen it firsthand, man. That being a artist or a musician, bro, that stuff is not
hard.
it's not easy. And like, you gotta, like you were saying, you gotta deal with the self-doubt, or sometimes you don't know whether the plan gonna come together, so you like seriously running on faith.
Yep.
So my question for you is, what is your why? Like, why are you doing all this, man? Because it's not easy. Like, you got a master's degree.
Yeah.
You could just be like, okay, I'm gonna get a computer
Six-figure
job.
job.
But you're doing the art thing. So the question is, what's keeping you motivated? Why are you continuing to go this route?
What keeps me motivated? Man, as a late, I used to be able. I would answer that question differently if you asked me a couple months ago. But what I've been doing lately, I've been reading the Bible, and there's a verse, whether you're religious or not. I can't. It's in Matthew, but Jesus has a parable where he talks about a farmer. I think like a farmer, and he has a couple servants. He gives them like some coins, and he talks about, I guess maybe I'm misconstruing the verse, so everybody who's super duper Christian don't get at me, but the farmer leaves, so he gives one servant like 2 coins, he gives he gives one servant 4 coins, another servant 2 coins, another servant 1 coin, and he comes back, and the first servant is like, I turned my 4 coins into 8 coins, and he's like, oh good, I'm very proud of you, good job. Then the other guy's like, oh, I turned my 2 coins into 4 coins. He's like, good, good, good. Then the one with the 1 coin, so well, what'd you do? And he's like, well, man, I was just so nervous when you gave this to me. I just went ahead and buried it. He's like, did you make some more of it? And nah, I just buried it, man. I'll just give it back to you. And I feel like that's kind of a metaphor for like our talent. You know what I'm saying? God gives you certain talents, and I could be misreading it. It's just what it means to me. He gives you certain talents, and he wants to see what you're gonna do with it. You know what I'm saying? How are you gonna utilize that talent to be productive in the world? And I don't know where I get rap from. Like people ask me all the time, how you rap? How you know you do it really good, right? And I'm like, I think so. But they're like, where'd you get it from, bro? When I sit down to write, it's not me thinking. I just start writing, and it just starts coming out like that. When I wrote Mr. Pennington, I didn't think, oh, I want to write this song. I heard the beat, and from verse 1, I started writing. I wrote the chorus all in order. Like I'm not going back and restructuring. I don't even edit my rap. So what y'all hear is the first written one. And I feel like because of that, like God gave me a truly like supernatural talent with this. And I don't want to get back and he be like, well, what'd you do with it? And it's like, I don't know, man. I was too nervous to really try, bro. Like I just went and worked the computer job, but I'm like, So I was like, since he gave it to me, let me try. And if I fail, I'm cool with failing, but I just don't want to get back to, the gates. And he like, well, why you ain't at least try to make something happen? So I'm just trying to turn my 4 coins into 8. That's it.
That's what's up, bro. Man, that's a bar.
Hey, that's hard. Yeah, I thought that when I wrote 4 coins into 8. I gotta put that. That's in the notes.
Yeah, I guess last question, bro. And I guess this, I don't know. I'm into this like legacy thing right now, man. I feel like when I talk to people, it's like just be trying to figure out what do you want like folks to say about you, like all your work that you're doing. What is the lasting legacy that you want to leave behind, like when it's all said and done? You know what I mean?
Legacy. I mean, I answer everything so roundabout. That is my problem. Let me see. How can I answer that direct, man? I can't. Okay, so the history teacher in me, man, it's like 1,000 years from now, we don't when art was being made, when Michelangelo was like sculpting and painting and things like that, I don't think he was looking and thinking like 1,000 years from now they're gonna write about this in textbooks, right? And I think people look at that like with hip hop right now. They're like, hey, this is only 50 years old. This stuff comes and goes. But I want to be one of those things, like when we talk about legacy, that people look back and be like, man, this really was a pioneer of music. Like he really took this hip hop thing and took it to a place that we've only seen a few do it. So I'm not saying I got to be up there as far as sales and records and stuff like that, but I do want to be compared to the best, Kendrick Lamar's, the J. Cole's, the Drake's in some capacity. Tupac Shakur, like all those great writers. I feel like we kind of undermine hip hop because of some of the topics. When you just look at the writing capabilities of it, we're getting very, very good, John Grisham type level writers. They just happen to be rapping. Like if Nas decided he didn't want to rap and at 17, instead of dropping, Illmatic, instead of dropping Illmatic, he went and wrote a book.
Probably next James Baldwin. Yeah.
See, next James Baldwin. Yeah. And I want people to revere rappers in that sort of capacity. So my legacy is to push that forward, especially in Arkansas. I realize, and I tell all the people who kind of rap in my lane, that's kind of not underneath me, but not in the foreface of it like me. I feel like I take the front face of lyricism in Arkansas. Realize we pioneers right now. Like we doing something in Little Rock that people have not historically been receptive to. And we're just now starting to get to a point, because I feel like it's cats more lyrical than me, but they were just a little bit older than me. So people wasn't ready to, you see what I'm saying? But now we just not getting to a point where it's people kind of starting to tilt their head and be like, well, hold on. I got the gangster niggas rocking with me too. But I also got the really smart kids who are going to college. And I feel like we in a unique position. So I want to be an Arkansas pioneer.
Man, that's what's up. Well, bro, I had to have you on here, bro. I'm proud of you. I've been like a fan for like a minute, man. So I had to get you on here and do your thing, man. Like I'm rooting for you. I feel like, man, I tell you like I tell everybody else, man. I feel like I'm living through you and and all the stuff you're doing, man. So like when you winning, man, I feel like I'm out there winning, seeing you doing your thing, bro. So no, bro, thank you so much for coming on to the podcast, man. Appreciate you. Yeah. Man, for y'all at home, if y'all enjoyed this podcast, please make sure that you check out Penn, but also please make sure that you like, share, and make sure that you subscribe. Until next time, y'all stay encouraged and be safe. All right, that's what's up. Man, bro, appreciate you.